Okay, everyone, welcome to the webinar. This is Bournemouth University. We're going to be talking about studying in the UK. So like I stated before, we're going to get into about a 30-minute presentation, and then at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session. This presentation is going to focus on why you should study in the UK, the different courses that we offer at BU, along with the different requirements and the application process. And once again, my name is Angelic Michelle, so I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope this is really helpful for you guys during your process. Just so you guys are aware, all of the content in this presentation is correct up to date now, but of course everything is subject to change in regards to things like the requirements for the courses, because we of course want to keep all of our courses up to date and relevant for when you guys go out into the job field. So just like I said, we're going to go over where Bournemouth is, why you guys should choose the UK. We're going to talk about the different BU academic subjects, different entry requirements. We're going to go over a few key facts about BU, some tuition fees, and of course scholarships, because everyone wants to talk about scholarships. We'll go over the different accommodation options, different help and advice, and of course we'll have our Q&A at the very end. I'm going to try to throw in a few personal aspects and touches to this just so you guys can kind of relate a little bit more on what's going to be going on and how the process was for me. So the UK has a very competitive edge. 91% of international undergraduate students are very satisfied with UK higher education. 85% of the international undergrads say that they would recommend or they do actively recommend their UK study experience. We are rated the highest in 15 out of 23 measures of teaching and learning, and the number of non-EU students has increased by 46% since 2007. I know when I did my master's program, there were 166 of us in the School of Tourism master's program, and only two were UK students, so it's very diverse. And of course, our bachelor's degrees are 3 years, and it's 4 years if you do a work placement, and the master's degree is only 1 year unless you do a work placement as well, in which case it's 2 years. At the bottom of the screens, you guys will also see different links that you guys can click on to kind of give you guys more information on this. So when you get this slideshow, definitely pay attention to that. So where is Bournemouth located? So we're in Dorset on the southwest coast of England. It's less than 2 hours from London by train. I don't know if any of you have ever been to London, but it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a very popular British holiday destination. I believe we were ranked number 4 best beach in Europe, so that's us. We have a really great nightlife. It's crazy. There are karaoke bars everywhere. There are clubs that you can go dancing at. And if the club closes at 3, there's another one that's open until 6 a.m. And so that's good. There are also more low-key pubs and bars that you guys can go to. And there are also links in this for some of our student blogs for undergraduate and postgraduate about living in Bournemouth and the different experiences that you guys can get. So definitely take a look at those. This is just going to be some pictures of things that are around the Bournemouth area. Of course, you have the beach, which is in the middle. So it's absolutely gorgeous. I was not a fan of the beach before I moved to Bournemouth, but it's really great being able to walk 10 minutes and, you know, being on the sandy beach and the water. And let me give you guys a tip. If you go to BU, the water is going to be the warmest in September and October, because it's had all summer to heat up. No one told me that, so I was swimming in like May and June, and I was freezing, but I also went swimming at like 6 a.m. So yeah, so there's that, and then at the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to see the Bournemouth Air Festival. It happens once a year. People flock to the beach, and they just have different air shows and different planes going up and fireworks. There are going to be different vendors along the beach. It's really great to check out. It's just like a week-long festival, a little less than a week. I think it's like a 4-day weekend. So yeah. This is going to be why you should choose BU. So we have risen 20 places in the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide. We sorry, we're the top 10 in the 2016 Guardian rankings for hospitality, events, and tourism. I remember when I was there, we were actually ranked number one, and I was so happy because being from the US, I didn't really know what's a good international school, and I was so happy that I ended up picking BU because I was a tourism major, so it was really good. And we're the first university in the UK recommended for quality of student learning opportunities, so go BU. So in 2016-2017, we awarded over 1,000 scholarships. We had over 2,300 international students representing over 120 countries. We have invested a lot on our campus. There's always going to be new buildings popping up that they're doing construction on, and it's really great to see because they're really investing in the students. So we're getting more lecture halls, more meeting spaces, and it's really great to see how much BU is invested in us and making sure we have all the up-to-date technology and equipment that we really need to succeed. So, and we were also entered in the list of top 200 universities in the world. I know you're probably thinking 200 is kind of a lot, but I'm talking like worldwide, guys. So that's always a good thing to just see how much we're improving and how much we're getting higher and higher in the rankings. So BU's always growing. So this is going to be a link to the article down below as well, just so you guys can take a look at that. And these are going to be some pictures just of Bournemouth University. The top left-hand corner, I'm sorry, is going to be the atrium. It's where our Starbucks is located because everyone needs a Starbucks. And then the bottom left-hand corner is going to be our library on Talbot campus. We actually have two libraries. We have one on Talbot and one on Lansdowne campus. And it's great because the buses will, of course, take you to each campus and around. And the online university is just so enormous and expansive, and it's really great the type of resources that you can get just from your dorm rooms. So that's always a plus. And these are just going to be more pictures as well. In the top right-hand corner, you have a picture of one of our lecture halls. There are about 5 lecture halls in there. It's also where they hold different events. It's where they'll hold some of the placement and job fairs as well for you guys to kind of help you if you decide to do a placement or if you're just looking for a good company to start your career off with. So now let's get into some of the entry requirements for the USA students because I know we have quite a few. So if you're looking to do a bachelor's degree, you of course need to have your high school graduation diploma, and you need to have a minimum of 3.0 out of 4.0. And then you're of course going to have to do one of the following. So as most of you know, you need to have either your SATs or your ACTs, depending on where you live in the country. And then the SAT subject tests are required for certain subjects. Of course, for the course that you're doing, it's going to tell you which ones that they'd prefer. They have to be relevant to the course that you're applying for. And you need to have a score range between 575 and 625. And then you need to have your SAT reasoning test with a score between 1700 and 1800 or 1200 and 1300 post March 2016. So that's probably going to be more relevant for you guys, the 1200 to 1300. And then of course, if you guys are taking any AP classes, like I took AP Chemistry, AP English, AP American History and stuff, you're going to have to take those subject exams as well, and you'll need to have a range between a score of 3 and 5. If you're doing the master's degree, you're of course going to have your U.S. bachelor's degree in the relevant subject and some work experience depending on the course. My course was tourism management, and they wanted you to have 3 years work experience, but I had I guess my application was just so good that they let me get away with just 1 year work experience while I was getting my bachelor's, so that's good. And it's of course always going to depend on the course that you're applying for, and the GPA requirement will vary between a 2.5 to a 3.5 depending on the course that you guys are doing. Now, if you live in Canada, your requirements are going to be a little bit differently because you guys won't have or ACTs, you guys are going to have your grade 12 secondary school diploma completed in a university preparation stream. And then if you're doing your master's degree, you're going to need your Canadian bachelor's degree as well. And the minimum grade requirement for a GPA of a scale of 4.0, you need to have a 2.5. If it's a 5.0, you need to have at least a 3.0. And if it's a 9.0, you need to have at least a 6.0, or overall performance of 65%, which is a C+, I believe. And then if you guys are from Latin America, you guys are going to have a few differences. You have to have the completion of 12 years secondary education plus 1 year foundation certificate, which it needs to be a 75% and above, depending on the course, of course. With the exception for those taking internationally qualifications such as IBs, A-levels, SATs, etc. And also 1 year university studies in a relevant subject can replace the foundation certificate. So say you've already started studying at a university, but you really want to transfer or start studying at BU, that can take place of a foundation certificate. And then if you're doing a master's in the master's degree, you need a 4-year bachelor's degree from a recognized university at a 75% or above. So those are just, of course, a few of the requirements, and we will have links so that you guys can get in touch with people if you have more specific questions, or if you want to tour the school and talk to some of the lecturers. So let's go over a few of the academic subjects that we have. We have quite a few things from animation, which is huge at BU, English, communications, journalism, politics, marketing, film and TV. I know we have a few studios for that, and it's always amazing going into those studios. I don't try to touch anything just in case anything might break, but I love going in and seeing the students work. You have different things like anthropology, forensics and geography, biology, environmental sciences. We have engineering, design, computing, and creative technology as well. You have your accounting and finance, your business management, economics, law, your, of course, MBAs, so your business administrative degrees. You have my personal favorite, tourism and hospitality, retail management, events management, sports management. You also have tourism marketing. You have psychology, nutrition, social work, sociology, and anthropology. And then you also have social policy. So these are just a few of the subjects that we have. And then, of course, they break down into more specific things. And at the bottom of this slide, you'll see a link of all of the different courses we have. And that'll also be a link for all of the course requirements as well as the units that you'll be taking in these courses. So you guys will be able to see what classes you'll be taking, see the descriptions of the classes, and kind of the the assignments that you'll be doing. So it's pretty cool. Definitely take a look at that just to make sure you guys are up to date with the requirements for your specific course that you want. We also have the BU International College. This is a brand new building that they were building when I was there. So this is where if you have to take a foundation course or a pre-sessional English course, this is the building that it's going to be in. Most students from Latin America who have completed their secondary education will need to undertake a 1-year foundation certificate in order to study an undergraduate course. And then if you hold a conditional or unconditional offer for BU and require extra language tuition, extra language tutoring and study skills, that will be in this building as well as the pre-master courses. So if you're an international student and you're doing your master's, you kind of just need to make sure that you're up to date with everything, that you're starting off on an even playing field, then that'll be in this building as well. And at the bottom, you'll be able to download a prospectus for that. So let's get into tuition and fees. These are going to be for non-EU students, which is, I believe, most of you on the webinar. So our tuition and fees for undergraduate courses is going to be $13,500, and this is in pounds. And then for postgraduate courses, it's going to be $11,000 to $14,500, and this is going to be per year. The postgraduate course is going to be a little bit differently because postgrad courses are only 1 year unless you do a placement, but the placement you won't have to pay this twice. And then if you pay the full amount before or at enrollment, you get a 5% discount. And then also, if you undertake an undergraduate degree with BU and then go to a master's degree, you receive a 20% alumni discount. And then also a 20% discount is available for any non-EU students who has an immediate family member who graduated from BU or who is currently studying at BU. So if you know anyone, definitely take advantage of that. Now let's get into our scholarships. This is going to be what everyone wants to talk about. The great thing about BU is that we offer a BU Academic Excellence Scholarship. I was actually awarded this scholarship. It's an automatic thing that you don't actually apply for. As long as you make the correct grades, BU will automatically deduct this scholarship from your tuition and fees. So it's really great. And so for me, I was postgraduate, so I got the 13.5, I got the 3.5, and then for international undergraduate students is 2.5. So this is, like I said, automatic. If you make the grades, then they automatically award it to you. This is unlike the other scholarships because all of the other scholarships you will have to apply for. So it's really great. I mean, who doesn't love automatic scholarships? We also have the Postgraduate Dean Scholarship, which is 50%, and it's across all four of our faculties. And then we also have a Public Health Scholarship for postgraduate students, which is a 25%. And the link to all of our scholarships is going to be at the bottom of this slide, and it will go over all of the requirements, how you apply for them, and what you need. Mostly it's things like personal essays and statements, so make sure you pay attention to those requirements and really try to answer the questions that they're asking just to better your chances. We also have a excellence scholarship for sports, and that's up to £5. And it's really supporting elite athletes representing their sport at a national or junior level. And they also do scholarships that isn't a monetary value, but it's things like certain massages given once a week, or really just athletic support depending on what sport you're doing. And then there is a Columbia Partnership Scholarship, which is 20% discount. So all of the information for that will be inside that little blue box right there. And so if you guys are studying for undergraduate, you're looking to come to BU, the process you're going to go to is going to be slightly different than the postgrad process because you guys will be applying through the UCAS system. And this system is very easy to use. If you click on the bottom, it'll kind of let you know the key dates and things that you need to know and what you need to have. So all applications for UK universities go through UCAS. So starting September 1st, they can receive applications, and then they'll just go through the deadlines for it. So January 15th is going to be the first deadline. March 24th is going to be a deadline for many arts and designs programs, and then June 30th is the last deadline. I do know sometimes if universities still have openings left on courses, they'll let you do like a last minute application, but you definitely don't want to miss these deadlines, especially being international students. You want to make sure you leave enough time to get your visa and have everything in order for your country first off, and then for the UK as well. So I definitely recommend following these deadlines to a T and not missing anything. And so what will happen is you'll register with UCAS. You'll enter in all of your personal details. The BU institution code is B50. And of course, you guys will have this slideshow, so you don't have to write that down. It's going to be here for you. You'll enter the details of the course you're applying for via the relevant UCAS code. Enter the details of your educational history. You'll add a personal statement. You'll provide details of at least one academic referee, so that's going to be a reference. So it could be one of your professors, one of your academic advisors, sorry, you're in high school. It's going to be one of your teachers or like your guidance or academic counselor at school. And then you're going to agree to the UCAS terms and conditions. If you're doing post-grad, it's going to be vastly different. You're not going to go through the UCAS system at all. You're going to apply directly to BU online, and they can be made through BU official representatives as well. Applications are handled by the Central International Admissions teams for fast responses, typically about 48 hours, and single point of contact. So you're actually going to be dealing with our applications team. So that's very easy. And there aren't really deadlines for applying to postgraduate study, but I do recommend applying in advance. I wouldn't recommend applying the summer before the course is about to start, because you also have more things that you'll need, most likely, like if you're doing a animations course, or you're really just in any type of computer science and animation and visual effects, you're going to have a portfolio. So I definitely recommend applying several months in advance for that. You're going to upload the following documents: your academic certificates and transcripts, proof of English proficiency, your personal statement, your academic references, copy of a valid passport, your CV, which is your resume, and a portfolio when required. I applied for BU, I believe, in December, early January. I got a response end of February, and so I was still doing my undergrad, so of course I didn't have my full completed transcript, so I got a conditional offer, and then once I graduated in May, I uploaded those transcripts and it became an unconditional offer. Yes. I got a conditional offer first, then it became an unconditional offer. Right. So there's that. So if you're still doing your undergrad right now, you can of course still apply. Just upload the most recent transcripts that you guys have, and then when you guys graduate, you'll upload those documents as well. Your personal statements, very, very, very important. So you need to include your reasons for applying for the course you are, how it will benefit you in the future, your reasons for applying to study specifically at BU. You want to emphasize where you have achieved an exemplary standard in your studies and how it relates to your course. Your career aspirations upon completing your course, so what you want to do, what your degree. You want to include what motivates you and how it relates to the course that you're applying for. And you, of course, want to include any extracurricular activities like volunteer work, paid work, hobbies, interests. So I was applying for tourism management, so I wanted to include how I was the president of the Travel and Tourism Research Association student chapter of my university. So it was a travel club for short, but it was a really long name. We had to get so many certifications for that. But yes, so you want to include anything that's going to be relevant to the course you're applying for, and of course any volunteer work as well, and any work experience that you have. Your reference letter is going to be very important as well. It should be written by a tutor who knows you well, or an academic advisor. It should demonstrate how you cope with academic demands of the course, your grade predictions, explain any possible low performance during your studies. You want to make sure that they're emphasizing your strengths and how they relate to the course you're applying for. Compare your performance to the overall performance of other students at your school, so why you're, say, topping your class. And they should also give a brief and relevant profile of your school in a separate document, just so that the university kind of knows where you're coming from. Now we're going to get into accommodation. This is my favorite. I love the different accommodation options at Bournemouth. It's amazing because it's guaranteed for all overseas students up to, as long as you apply, I believe, by like August 8th. Don't quote me on that though. And there are on and off campus options. I always recommend living on campus, especially if you're an undergrad student, because you're not really going to know anyone going into BU because you're coming from the other side of the world. So it's really great to get on campus for that year. You're going to meet tons of new people who live in your residence hall. You're going to meet new people from your course, new people from the clubs and organizations that you're going to join, new people that you just randomly meet on the plane or on the bus ride to BU, random people you're going to meet at ASDA or Tesco. And then those are the people that you can potentially live with for your second year at BU. So it's really great way to introduce you to just tons of new people so that when you are moving off campus for the second year, you kind of have those relationships set up to where you really vibe with 2 or 3 of your flatmates and you really want to have, say, a flat with them for the rest of your studies. All BU rooms are private study bedrooms, so that means that you're all going to have your own bedroom. You're not going to share with anyone. Like in the US, you might have another roommate or 2 other roommates. You're going to have your own private room, and most of them have ensuite bathrooms. So I believe all but Talbot House will have your own ensuite bathroom. So say you have 6 other flatmates, you each have your own bedroom, you each have your own bathroom, and you just share a kitchen and a living space. Postgraduates also have the option to do studio apartments, which is what I did. So I actually had my own kitchen, my own bathroom, and like my own bedroom. It was like a large room and like a little bathroom off to the side. And then there's accommodations for couples and families as well. So say you have a wife and a child, you have that option as well. And so the residence halls, it's great because there's so many different options that you can get flats for as cheap as 115 pounds a week to the most expensive option of 195 pounds per week. I believe I was the most expensive one because I had a studio, and then I also went into the newest building that they had. And I remember I paid quite a bit for it, but I was happy because I got a large bed. They replaced our washer and dryers every term. So like I really got what I was paying for. And then of course you have Student Village. That's the one I was talking about where you'll share a bathroom with people. Student Village is 118 pounds per week. And then a uni-let could be as low as 100 to 120. And a uni-let is essentially a house that the university is like worked with landlords for to get students into those houses. And so you're actually getting a full house. It's not going to be a flat or an apartment. And these are all inclusive of bills, and you'll also get a BU bus pass. So you'll be able to hop on the bus to go to the different campuses that you need to. And I believe I was the very first stop because I lived in Dorchester House, and it took 15 minutes to get to Talbot campus, which was the very last stop. So everything's very close by, and they run every 15-20 minutes as well. So that's really great. So these are going to be some of the options that you have. You have Purbeck House, which a lot of undergraduate students go into Purbeck. The University Letting Service House is going to be like I was saying, where you have like a full house and you have other university students there. You have Line Regis House, which is in the bottom right-hand corner. Student Village is the only accommodation that's offered on Talbot campus. So you're literally right across a parking lot from the university. So it's really easy to just wake up and be at class in like 15 minutes. Most of the students live on Lansdowne campus just because it's in town, it's close to all the shops, restaurants, clubs, and bars. Most of the other accommodation buildings are down there as well. There are 2 ones in Pool, so that's not going to be on Lansdowne campus. And then there's another one that's mostly postgraduate students that's a little bit closer to Talbot campus. And then these are going to be the other ones. If you look at the top right-hand corner, you're going to see Dorchester House. That's essentially what my studio looked like. It was very large. I was very surprised. It wasn't this one specifically. I had a longer hallway and it kind of turned into my bedroom, and my kitchen was off to the side. So it's like this. These are what our studios look like. In the bottom left-hand corner is going to be Dorchester House. They also changed our walls and painted several times. So there's that. And then, of course, you have Lansdowne Point bedroom in the top left, and then Cranbourne House, which is the bottom right. So, of course, there are going to be links to these where you can take like virtual tours of them on YouTube. So definitely pay attention to that if you're kind of filling out where you guys want to go. And if you guys have any questions about the accommodations, of course, we can go over that in the Q&A session. Now we're going to talk about Sport BU. This is just how we refer to all things sports at BU. So it's a great way where you can meet people and socialize. They have a new gym facility that they just refurbished a couple years ago, so like all new equipment, brand new paint job, mats, everything looks so good. It kind of makes you want to work out. And they have different classes and programs. They offer over 50 classes a week, from things like spin classes to Zumba and yoga and things like boxing, just different types of things that'll really get you guys moving. They also have things where you can volunteer and focus on different events and then we have 4 main focus sports: cricket, golf, tennis, and volleyball. Those are like our big ones that we do that you guys can play for. Then we also have social sports, so things like intramural teams where you don't want to be on the varsity team, but you really enjoy, say, American football or just football in general, so you can play other teams at BU. And we have, this is going to be different links for the clubs and societies focusing on it: strength and conditioning, the Academy of Performance Coaching, things like that. And then, of course, you have a link for the student portal that'll take you to the Sport BU. So this is going to be the page for any help and advice. So we talk about the academic support that we have, the disability and additional learning support, which is located in the library. It helps you and really caters to you if you have specific learning differences, if you have a physical or sensory impairments, any medical conditions, mental health issues. We also have a language center, which I also love as well. Because we have over 120 countries represented, we of course have so many languages that are spoken on BU campus. So the language center really allows you to learn a second language at your own pace, and they have different different cafes where you can go and you can speak only French for like an hour and a half, or speak only German, or whatever the language is that you really want. So that's in the library as well. We also have the study support, so things like academic writing, critical analysis, revision techniques, presentations, referencing, how to avoid plagiarism. These are all kind of sessions that you can go. They typically last about an hour, hour and a half, and it really just helps you guys to make sure you're being correct and make sure you're doing what you need for your assignments and how to go about and really refine those techniques that you need. So for more information, there's a link down there. We also have the health and well-being, so things like counseling, the medical center, chaplaincy, safety and personal security. We have a link for all of those things. So definitely click on those if you're interested. And so now we're going to get into our Q&A session. I want to thank you guys so much for listening to me go on and on about BU. I hope it's been very informative so far. On this page, you're going to see different links for how you can meet up with BU in your own country. So talk to some of our BU representatives, any local contacts that might already be in your country, any more online seminars and chats that we're going to be doing. I know we do these chats and these webinars quite often as well. Also, you're going to have a link to all of our open days where you can actually come and see BU. Of course, with you guys being international students, if you can't make it to the open days, but you do come visit BU, as long as you let us know in advance, we should be able to get you guys set up with campus tours and really talk to you guys about what it is you're going to be focusing on and how to go through the application process. Of course, you'll have a link to our scholarships and a link to all of our course information. Your BU admissions advisor is going to be Luciana. She is absolutely phenomenal. She holds lots of webinars, has lots of chats. So if you guys are really interested in doing BU, this might not be the last time you'll talk to me. I promise you I'm pretty cool. So there's going to be that as well if you need to get in touch with her. And then, of course, if you want to learn more, you can just visit our undergraduate and postgraduate blogs as well. So hope you guys found this informative, and I hope to see you guys at BU very shortly.